A comment I often hear is how expensive divorce is, and I hear it from both men and women. Well, there's a reason why that is. No, it's not mom. No, it's not dad. No, it's not the children. So what is it? It's the lawyers. Here's a beautiful example of what they do to create animosity, create conflict, so that they can extract as much money as they can from the family.
It is not the primary resident parent's role to make the non-resident's role as a parent any easier.
Think about what she just said there. She's telling custodial parents, which are primarily mothers, to not cooperate, to not focus on doing what's best for the children, but instead make it as difficult as possible for the non-custodial parent, which is almost always dad, to remain a parent in their children's lives.
Whilst they shouldn't be making it obstructive, it's not their job to make it easy for you either.
Well, in fact, it is. It is their job to make it as easy as possible. Why? Because that's what's best for the children. And you all scream about how this whole system is supposed to be set up for what's in the best interest of the children. But you see, doing what's actually in the best interest of the children isn't in the best interest of the attorney's pocketbook, is it? No, what's in their best interest is to create as much acrimony, as much anger, as much confrontation as possible, so that the attorneys can then rake it in, filing motion after motion. That's the reality of how these attorneys think and what she's saying.
You have parental responsibility. You have the responsibility to obtain all the information that you want on your child directly.
Technically, she's right there. It is your responsibility as a parent to get that information. But the part she's conveniently leaving out is, for dads especially, trying to get that information, like, say, school records from the school district, can be very difficult, especially if mom is telling the school district not to release the information. And it's not like any attorney that represents mothers wouldn't encourage them to do exactly that, would they?
You're choosing not to. You can contact the GP to get an update on their medical issues or needs, but you're choosing not to.
And here we see her trying to blame dad for choosing not to. Again, leaving out the part, contacting that GP, well, that costs money. Because more often than not, that GP is going to say, well, let me talk to your attorney first.
Relying on that resident parent to cascade that information down to you, and if they don't, then you're considering them obstructive.
That's because they are, in fact, obstructive. They aren't acting in the best interest of the children. It's usually because they've been coached to be that way by attorneys like this.
Sometimes even alienating, which isn't right, because that's not what the correct use of that word is for.
Well, that one's hilarious, because that's exactly what's going on here. You're actually encouraging alienating type behavior in mothers, telling them that it's best not to be a cooperative parent, to be as difficult as possible. Also, you can make more money.
So, just understand that the resident parent is already spending so much time parenting the child that they can't parent you on how to parent the child.
A beautiful example here of what I call the classic mother manipulation. I swear to God they teach this in law school. And it's why you hear women say all the time that dads are children. It's because lawyers like this encourage them to think that way. Again, create rancor, animosity, and outright hatred towards the dad, and then justify the behaviors of the mothers, knowing full well that this is likely going to drive things into family court. And again, transfer that wealth from the family into her own pocket. Now let me be clear. It is not all divorce attorneys that act this way. There are some very good ones, some I consider to be my friend. But if I'm being honest, this is the way the overwhelming majority of them think and act. They don't care about their client, and they certainly don't care about the client's children. They just want to rack up those billable hours, take as much money away from those children as they can for themselves. Who cares if mom and dad later on struggle to feed the kids or keep a roof over their head, or have money to send the kids to college? No, what's more important is that she's got that new Gucci handbag, has that brand new Mercedes in the driveway, and that vacation home at the beach. That is their ultimate goal. It is not, never has been, and never will be about the best interest of the children. The entire system is designed to do one thing and one thing only: benefit the attorneys.